All right, so we've been talking about box model properties, right? And we've discussed the idea of setting a width and a height, right? And if there's a problem, with the width and height, there's an overflow to deal with extra content. Next thing we're going to talk about is what is referred to as padding. Oops, shoot, that was the one I wanted. Dang it. Oh well. Alright, so what padding is the space between your content and the edge of the HTML container. Okay. I'm going to go back to InDesign for a second. So I've kind of been using this as an example. So here it's like I have a frame and it's got a background color and it's got some text in it. But the problem is that the text is right up against the edge of this container, this frame here, right? So it makes it a little difficult to read. So it'd be nice if there was like a little bit of a buffer zone between the edge of my frame and the text itself. Now, in something like InDesign, what you could do is if I went to text frame options, and once again, don't worry if you don't know InDesign. I'm just kind of using this as an example, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply what's called inset spacing. And you can see it's putting a little bit of a spacing here between the edge of the container and my text. So it gives a little bit of breathing room. Okay, and that's what padding really is in terms of CSS. So this is exercise 6. This is what it looks like. Okay, a couple of containers here about famous comedians of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this Bob Newhart one, and I'm going to use an ID to select it. So I'll use Newhart, and let's give it a width of, 300 pixels, and let's give it a background color of yellow. Okay, I'm going to preview this. All right, so this is what it looks like. Okay, now my text here is really right up against the edge here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a CSS property called padding. So I'm going to go in here, type in padding, and I'm going to type in 25 pixels. And let's go back and refresh. And you can see now that I now have this additional spacing, this additional space from here to there. Okay, I didn't have that before, now I have that. Okay, so that's what the padding does. It provides space from the content, in this case the content is my text, but it could be images, it could be a video, to the edge of the container. The container in this case is the div tag. Okay, now when you apply padding, if you just put in one number, essentially what it does is it puts that same amount of padding on all 4 sides. So remember I said that there's this idea in box model that there's a top, a bottom, a right, and a left. It's going to put 25 pixels on the top, 25 pixels on the right, 25 pixels on the bottom, and 25 pixels on the left. If you put in 2 values, 1, 2, what's going to happen is the first value represents the top and the bottom, and the second value represents the left and the right in terms of padding. So what I'm going to do is do the second one here with 300 pixels, background color red. Okay, and let's make it a little wider. Yeah, that's fine. So once again, like with the, let's make it like 400. All right, like with the Bob Newhart one, this text is like right up against the edges here. Okay, so I'm going to add in padding, and I'm going to put in 2 values. Let's put 20 pixel, 40 pixel. So what this is, this value is going to represent the top and the bottom. So it's going to put 20 pixels on the top, 20 pixels on the bottom. This is going to put 40 pixels on the left and 40 pixels on the right. So I'm going to go back refresh. Oops, make sure I save that bad boy. Okay, so 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 40 pixels, and then 40 pixels. Lastly, if you want, you can give 4 values. So if you give 4 values, it's going to put a value for each side. So it goes top, right, bottom, left. How do you remember? Basically, you start with the top and you go clockwise. So top, right, bottom, left. So I'm going to go here and let's do Robin Williams with 400 pixel, background color orange. Okay, save. All right, like with the other ones, it needs a little bit of spacing here. So I'm going to do padding, and I'm going to do 10 pixels, 0 pixel, 40 pixel, 20 pixel. Okay, this is my padding on the top. This is my padding on the right, bottom, and left. So each one's going to get, in this case, a different value. Okay. So you can see here, there's more here than there is here, which has nothing. There's more here than here. There's more here than here. So you can be very precise about what values you want. In addition to setting all 4 sides, if you want, I apologize, this is slightly out of order, you can put, if you say the name of the property, you can always apply a box model property to one side. So you could say padding top, padding right, padding bottom, or padding left to just affect that one particular side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this Robin Williams. I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to say padding bottom. So in this case, I'm only going to affect one particular side, and I'm going to set it to 25 pixels, let's say. And if I go back, you can see it's not affecting the top, right, left, but it is affecting the bottom here. Okay? All right, next thing is what is referred to as a stroke. I'm going to go back to InDesign. And in a program like InDesign that lets you do layout, a lot of times you can put a color around the perimeter of your design. This is typically referred to as a stroke, and you can set a thickness for your stroke, a style for your stroke, and you can also set a color for your stroke. So we can actually do something like that in in CSS. This is referred to as a border. Okay, your border lets you apply a design that goes around the perimeter of your HTML element. It takes 3 values by default: the thickness of the border, the style of the border, and the color of the border. So thickness and color make sense. The border is just the style. So these are the different styles: solid, double, dot, dashed, inset, outset, groove, ridge, and groove. You can see examples of what it would look like here if you want to sort of see. I'm going to go to example 7. And once again, let's preview this page. Okay. And let's do Lucille Ball. So Lucille with 400, background color, I don't know, yellow, and let's just give it a general padding of 25. All right, there's that. Now I'm going to set the border. So I'm going to set border. I'm going to set the thickness of the border. I'm going to set it to 5 pixels. The color of the border, red. You can use hexadecimal here too if you want. And the style, let's use solid. So I'm going to hit. It doesn't matter which order you put it in. You can put the style or the color first if you want. As long as they're separated by spaces, it does not matter. And there you go. 5 pixels solid. Let's do the same thing to Joan Rivers. So with 400, background color orange, padding 25. Okay. I want to put a border on this, so I'm going to go back, Let's do border. I don't know. Let's do green. So notice I put the color first this time. Let's do double, which means a double line border, and 10 pixels. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to do one for Richard Pryor with 350. Background color, gray. Padding, 25 pixels. Okay. Let's take a look at that. So like with the padding, if you want, you can apply a border to just one side. So for instance, I want to apply one to this side, but not to any of the other sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, border right. You always say the name of the property first, then you can say the side of the box model. And let's do 10 solid red 10 pixels. Go back, and there you go, 10 pixels. Okay, and it's only being applied to that one side. I can even put it on two sides. I just need to write two separate declarations here. So let's do border left, solid, red, 10 pixels. Okay. All right, feel free to try out all the different, styles. You can use my reference once again if you want to know all the references, all the different possible possibilities. I would recommend using a reference like W3 Schools, Borders. This would teach you all of the different styles you can use. You can set it to no border if you want, or hidden, something like that. It shows you examples of what they would look like. All right, so try that out. That was exercise 6 and 7.